James Nachtwey is an American photojournalist and war photographer. He grew up in Massachusetts and studied art history and political science at Dartmouth College. Nachtwey started his career as a newspaper photographer in 1976 at the Albuquerque Journal. In 1980, he moved to New York City and began working as a freelance photographer. In 1981, he covered his first assignment in Northern Ireland, where riots and street battles were escalating. Over the last 4 decades, he's covered nearly every armed conflict in the world. As a photojournalist and war photographer, most of Nachtwey's photos are both explanatory and ethically evaluative. He captures hate, brutality, heroism, destruction, and acts of compassion. In taking these photos, he sees himself as a messenger who reveals the deepest and often disturbing depths of humanity so that history doesn't repeat itself. Nachtwey often photographs in black and white in order to remove the emotions that color can convey. In this photograph taken in Afghanistan in 1996, the use of black and white photography also helps to highlight the ruins and destruction of Kabul from civil war. This photograph of an orphanage in Romania in 1990 depicts disabled children deemed incurable who were kept in cribs and weren't taken out to play. The cribs create a vanishing point that implies that there are potentially hundreds of cribs packed into a small space. The horror in the child's eyes and the endless bars on the cribs show how the orphanage is like a prison for these children. The series of photographs, which was published in the New York Times Magazine, helped lead to an international effort to rescue these children. The man in this photograph is a survivor of a machete attack in Rwanda. When describing the situation, Nachtwey said he approached the man very slowly, made eye contact with him, and then showed him the camera. The man then allowed Nachtwey to take the picture and even turned his face more to the light. When photographing humans in vulnerable situations, Nachtwey said he doesn't want to feel like he's taking from people, and he wants them to feel like he's a part of what he's doing. In this instance, the man understood what his scars would say to the rest of the world. As a journalist who often tells other people's stories, this really resonated with me. Nachtwey has said that he's extremely conscious of hands and eyes when photographing, as he thinks those are the two most expressive parts of people. In this photograph of a prisoner, Nachtwey uses hard light and the shadow it creates to frame out the subject's eye. Most recently, Nachtwey has been photographing the war in Ukraine. This is an image he took in Bucha shortly after Russian troops pulled out, leaving behind the bodies of civilians they'd executed. As a journalist, I use words to convey meaning, but throughout my career so far, I've learned that images are just as important when telling a story. Nachtwey's work serves as a reminder that images alone can tell powerful stories. In this instance, the words "Russian troops killed civilians" does not have nearly the same effect as photographs of the Bucha massacre. Throughout his career, Nachtwey has risked his life to capture images that are difficult to look at but important to never forget. He is quoted as saying, "I have been a witness, and these pictures are my testimony. The events I have recorded should not be forgotten and must not be repeated."